Hey, this is a video on how to draw and paint our monochromatic non-objective paintings. So first we'll go over drawing a few lines and shapes. Then we'll talk about painting procedures and how to mix different values of your one color that you chose, monochromatic, one color. So here, let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, so first on your piece of paper, of course, is write your name. I'm going to write it down here in a corner. I want to make sure I flip it so my name is on the back because we're going to paint every inch of this piece of paper. And then on the front, I'm going to draw 5 large shapes and 5 different lines. In this project, 5 is our magic number. We're going to do lots with that number 5. So 5 large shapes, large, and they can cross over each other and touch the sides. And 5 different lines. Again, large lines. And that's all we do for drawing to get us ready. Now we'll set up for painting and we'll start using lots of different values of our single color. So here's what your paint tray will look like when you get it. Let's see, make this bigger. That's good. Since we're not sharing supplies, you're going to get your very own set of paints with the one color that you chose in black and white, and a paper towel for all the paint to sit on, and your paintbrush, and then some extra paper towels for cleaning your paintbrush. We're not going to use water for this since we're all using the same, since we're all using one single color. We don't need to wash off our brush because we're going to get blue in our black and our white on our papers. So paper towels for cleaning, I'm going to put over here off to the side. Let's see if I can't. And my paper is going to go right on my tray next to my paints. Let's see, I'm going to scoot a little bit that way. Okay, so let me see, paper towel. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, so like I told you, 5 is our magic number. So we're going to paint 5 of our spaces we made with all these crisscrossing lines and shapes with our color, pure hue, nothing mixed into it. And when we paint these shapes, we'll go over our painting directions, our Mr. Paintbrush directions. Remember, Mr. Paintbrush is soft, so we have to paint very softly with him. We don't want to get paint anywhere up the handle, just on the bristles. So when I dip my brush in my paint, I'm going to touch it over here on the side so I don't drip. And then I'm going to just fill in super soft 5 of my spaces. And I'm not going to worry terribly if I'm not 100% in the lines, but do your best. We're using flat paint brushes, which are great because they can make a thin line when we use the thin side, and they can make a thicker line to help us fill in bigger spaces. So go back and get more when you need it. Always keeping the paintbrush super soft on your paper. So there's one. Okay, next, we're going to paint 5 tints. And when we mix our tints, I'm not going to clean off my paintbrush with water because I'm going to need to mix that blue in anyways. But I am, before I put my paintbrush in the white paint, I am going to wipe it off so there's no big globs of paint like there is on this brush. If I put my paintbrush in with big globs of paint, the blue will get into the white paint. But if I just wipe it off like this, and I super soft dip my brush into the white, I won't put any of my color in that white paint. And then tomorrow's kids can use the same white paint with whatever color they're using. And then I'll paint in spaces with the white, and that little bit of blue I have left on my brush will mix in and make tints of my color. So I'm going to dip into the white. So I'm going to wipe it off first, wipe, so there's no globs, and then I'll go back and get more white. Wipe it off. I'm gonna get some blue too. If you just wipe it off real good before you get any color, you won't mix up those paint cups on your trays. So tints are lighter values of your color. How light is up to you by how much white you add. So now we have 5 hue, pure color. We've got 5 tints. Next, we're going to paint 5 tones. And tones are when you use black and white into your color. So really gray into your color. Tones are the muted colors, the neutral colors. I call them the colors people paint their walls in their house because they're not super bright and they're not super dark. They're just kind of soft colors. So I'm going to paint 5 spaces with all 3 of my paints. What mixture of those 3 I do is there's huge possibilities, but mixing these 3 together will make some fun tones. So I'm going to start with a clean brush and I'm going to paint some blue, clean. I'm going to get some white. And remember, black will take over. So we need the tiniest touch of black, especially for this tiny space. So the tiniest touch of black is going to make this bluish kind of a gray. But that's a good one. I like it. So that's a tone. I'm going to clean my brush and do 4 more. And then my final directions for you is to paint 5 spaces with a shade of your color. And a shade of your color is black mixed in. Remember, tiny bits of black, but dark values of your color. So I'm going to use plenty of blue. Clean my brush. Get the tiniest touch of black. You can always go back and get more black, but black will darken those colors very quickly to make that shade. I'm use the side of my brush to get in these small spaces. And then once you've finished your 5 shades, the rest of the space is yours to paint what you want. Now you may need to rinse off your brush if you don't want that black on there. If you want to go back to some pure hue or just some real light tints, that black is going to show up in whatever colors you mix if you don't wash it off with water. So be sure to raise your hand and ask permission, but I'll let you wash off your brush once you finished all of this, so you can go back and paint the rest of your paper with lighter values if you don't want everything else to have black in it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish painting the rest of my spaces, and then the last thing we'll do is we'll outline with black or white. I guess you can outline with white. And then the final thing we're going to do in our paintings is outline. That means go over those pencil lines we started with. I don't want to outline every single line on mine, I don't think, but you can. And you may want to add extra lines on yours to create more patterns and designs. So I'm going to outline with black. You're more than I'm going to outline with black, but you're more than welcome to outline with white. Outline just means put your brush on the line and keep your brush on the line. I'm going to use the side of my brush to make my outlines a little thinner. If you use the wide edge, you're going to get a really thick line, which might be good if that's what you want, or maybe a mixture of both. And there it is, non-objective monochromatic abstract painting.